So with our lovely Miss B, hi cuteness, we're going to warm up a little bit with going to our target bed. So she's like, yes, ma'am, good job. So you guys will want to pick a slogan, like we've mentioned for some of the other babes in the classes in the program, is that you might want to maybe call this bed or place or mat. Again, whatever floats your boat. I might just start off by calling it bed, but whatever works at your household. If again, she's having a hard time with bedding, so for a lot of puppies this age group, they tend to want to either play or break their bedding. So I would highly recommend inexpensive, like sort of simple blankets that are not too exciting. Sometimes there is some bedding that is very plush and sort of squishy and almost has like pretend sheepskin. The problem with that for some pups is they don't understand why is that not the same as a smaller dog toy. So if you're finding she is really struggling with bedding, take a little breather from the bed and only use it when you're there to supervise and show her that going to the place equals either relaxation, reinforcements, or even a chew item on that target. So for my little Miss B, right now we're just starting to practice targeting the mat, so some target training with this item, and then we might apply that stay, which we've done with some of the other babes prior. So again, we might go bed, and then right there, go yes. And again, I don't care if she's sitting, downing, standing on the target. I'm just building up that she's going to get a couple beautiful rapid fire paycheck moments for going and targeting this weird blanket on the floor. So again, I'm going to sort of lure her away. She's like, I guess so. So notice how I tend to mostly feed while they're on the target. I want them to think that the benefit happens for going onto that sort of zone. So right there, yes. So let's say I want to apply the stay. So I know we did some stays and some weights with Mr. Z on Tuesday. So if there's ever some confusion, always feel free to check in. So with stay, I normally do an open palm stop sign stay. For weight, I tend to do one finger. It's whatever makes sense to you guys. So weight would be weight there. I'm sorry, I just messed up in my own head. So stay would be stay there, almost like a stop sign, until I come back and get you. The stay position is the only time they're being fed is while they're in it. When you go ahead, oh, she says, hi there. Do you have any slime on you, Ebba? Bella. So my little one decided to come on over and visit. Ready? Bella. Oh, you wanted to show me a bubble. All right, Ebba's building fun things with slime. Oh, that is a beautiful bubble, my love. Very pretty. So she is playing with some pretend bugs and some slime because that's very exciting. So Miss B got also a little distracted. So bed, yes. She's like, but why won't you wrestle with me? So if the puppy jumps, so just like with Mr. Z, I just ignore, or I wait for them to choose the better skill and make sure that I'm feeding for all four on the floor for a few lovely reps. If your puppy was really struggling, like I mentioned with Mr. Z, it could be that they're very likely overtired or a little bit stressed. So make sure that you're reading your puppy's capabilities for the environment, the setup, and what you're working on. So for right now, I might go all done with some touch, get my lovely lady to get up. And now again, for the stay, ready, bed? Yes. With stay, view it like freeze tag with room service. So again, we're going to maybe get that lovely sit. I'm going to tell her to stay, and I'm not going to add tons of distance. So I might work a little bit with the time frame, so like 1 to 5 seconds or so between each snack. If that is too long, you might find that she does better with, let's say, 1 to 3 second intervals in the beginning. So the beginning, it's about feeling that there's benefit from her perspective to not want to move, because most puppies think that not moving might be the dumbest thing they've ever done. So again, all done. We might pat the lovely lady and we're leaving the spot. So you'll see with the stay, we are not calling her from the position, because then at times your puppy is being reinforced for not moving. Oh, what a smart girl. And then other times they're being reinforced for, again, staying still. And then sometimes they're getting in trouble for picking the wrong option. So for me, I have stays be stay there like a statue until I come to retrieve the statue. So since statues can't move, that means you have to go back and get your super cute statue from their spot. With the weight, like we did with Mr. Z, they would be waiting and you'd call them to you. So with stays, you always have to go back and get them, and they're being reinforced for not moving. With weight, they're being reinforced for coming to you or moving. And then also for sometimes they could do a wait and then go retrieve an item. So it doesn't always have to be come to you. It could be release them to go grab their dish of food, come out the car door, hop, from their crate back out into the kitchen, whatever it might be. So right here, this would be, again, my little stay. I haven't really been able to mention it because I was just blabbing about what we're working. So again, but notice how my reinforcement is short and sweet. So little intervals are better for her than long ones. Mr. Z, you'll see when he was practicing Tuesday, that I was able to add movement, some distance, and there were some distractions from the building. And then he was still doing a really nice job. So all done. And then I might pat the lovely lady if they don't dislike touch. And then we get up and we wiggle. So I sometimes just wiggle my fingers, but I'm not feeding for the release. I know Mr. Z was a little bit stuck, so I was tossing a snack here and there just to get him up and wiggling. So now I'm at, again, bed. Yes. And then maybe we're going to try a down and see if I can try this a little bit in a down position. So I might go ahead and feed for that first little down. And now I'm going to tell her to stay. And I like to have a couple of snacks just ready in my hands if it's awkward to go into the treat pouch, or be ready for your timing's sake. And then what I like to do is for the downs, feed right between her little feet. So this way the food is almost coming from the mat to help the puppy stay on their bubble. As she becomes more refined, you would then be able to, for example, let's say she wiggles like she did, you would regain your either sitting. So I'm going to feed her for that first little sit. Now I'm going to go back to my little down. I'm going to go yes and feed for that. Oh, it got stuck in my fingers. Sorry, cuteness. Okay, I'll be right there. And then now I'm feeding her for being stationary. So even if your puppy breaks, view that as a moment where they might be saying, you know what, this is too hard. This is too long of an interval. Maybe sitting is an easier position for her than a down for starters. So we might get a sit. And again, now I might tell her to stay, and we might start really easy peasy right here and feed a few snacks, have it be successful. And then go ahead and let's say she's going to finish one more little tidbit. Nice. And then we'll say again, all done. So I like to have a distinct release word. For my guys, it's all done. Other people, you're doing a very good job. Other people might prefer free time, release, all set. If she gets a little stuck, notice how with Mr. Z, he was starting to think, no, staying in my spot is a really cool idea. If, again, worst case scenario, she gets a little stuck, do a little find it just to get her up and wiggling. But you want to make sure that going to her place is not scary. It's not you're in timeout or you're in trouble, because if you start to use going to either a crate or a corral or a zone or even a dog bed as I don't like what you're doing, you're going to start to poison or create negative associations with that target or that setup. So remember that if we're not practicing some of this even when we are home, how is the babe going to learn how to settle when you're away? So right there, nice. So she went and targeted it all by herself. Good job. Yes, my lovey. I'm going to come see. I'm going to go look at Ebba's cool slime. But Miss B is doing splendid. So I would, again, I know I've mentioned the PK, so puppy kindergarten, or even doing like the puppy play group. No pressure, but I would love to have her. I think she would do amazing in the class. And then you guys get to be part of it too. So even though I'm showing you all these great skills and you can bring it home and work it at the household, it can sometimes be nice to be the driver of the car versus me being the driver. So that way you guys get to learn the dance moves with your beautiful girl. And then that can create this really great way to bond and create that relationship too for later as she gets to be an adolescent and then as well an adult. So I'll go ahead and feed her last little stay snack, all done. I might love her up, give her some little touches, and then I might see if I can get her up and wiggling. There we go. And then she'd be all set with the position. But we'll give our beautiful girl a little break. She's like, look at me on my mat. Good job, cuteness.